samskaras are known as impressions on the mind. So, but the thing is that we always take in impressions. We're always impressed by things. We experience things. We experience people. We experience situations, places, gadgets, instruments, music. We experience everything. But in accord with how we experience a thing, that will leave what's called a sanskara. And therefore, in the law of karma, karma just means action and reaction that's created by this activity. There are two products of every activity. There are two products of every activity. And this is where it gets interesting. Two products of every activity. One is known prarabdha karma and the other one aprarabdha, which literally means one is manifested or seen and the other one is unseen. Now the seen manifestation of our karma or of our activity is something that we see right away. Like for example, if I slam my fist, I'm not going to do that because I love this harmonium, I bought it. But if I were to go out of my mind and do something like that, like smash my fist here, then the first reaction would be breakage of this, probably of this cover and so on. But there's, besides that, so that's prarabdha or the manifest karma. And the unmanifest karma is the one that's nasty. So it's not the breaking of the harmonium that's nasty, but the section of the reaction that's unmanifested. And in this particular case, that would be that anger. So the unmanifested portion of the reaction is like a seed that we water by our activities. In other words, how we take these impressions in. And so, for example, let's say a person who drinks, if alcohol, and becomes a drunkard. One becomes a drunkard by this process. You get drunk and whatever, next day you're all thirsty, have a headache and whatnot. Yeah, and a few other things. But the unmanifested reaction is that you have just watered a seed of a particular experience of this world, which will engage you in a similar activity again. And in this way, you do it again, and then you have watered the same seed. And so what you do, you perpetuate a particular view of this world, particular reality. And in this way, you get stuck in a concept to the point that you lose freedom to the concept. Just like an alcoholic loses freedom to drinking. And I'll just tell you a quick incident that happened to me 2 years ago. Time flies. It's a very tiny incident, but in it I saw this. We were out shooting, we were filming something, and there were a few of us with the cameras, and I was the only monk. The other two guys were non-monks.
Punk.
Actually, one of them was a punk. And so, I'm a monk, okay? That means I voluntarily try to practice a simple life, with as fewer possessions as I can pull it off. And so, when I buy something or when I get something, I try to get only one thing, so I don't have to have two things of the same thing. For example, if I buy shoes, I try to have shoes that are just shoes for every occasion. So for me, Tevas work the best, because you can run, you can hike, you can walk, it's like shoes for every activity. Unless you want to go in the snow. But I make it a point of not going into snow. And when it's really cold, I can wear socks, because if you have flip-flops, you can't wear socks. I mean, I guess you could, but somehow other socks prevent that thing. So it's really cool. But, apparently it's not awfully too fashionable to wear Tevas and socks. So as we were walking, one guy behind me was kind of, pointing out to his mates. Look at that guy, he's wearing Tevas with socks. Oh. And then at first I felt disturbed, and I was thinking, should I just turn around and say something to get him straight, retaliate or something, because I felt disturbed. But then I got lost in the thought. thinking of what actually just happened. And what I saw was that here was a person who lost his freedom to fashion. Lost his freedom to fashion, and was trying to rob me of the same freedom. He's already lost his freedom to it. Due to what? Due to these samskaras, or these impressions. In other words, you see the world, you interpret it a certain way, and it leaves this samskara, this impression upon the mind. Then all of a sudden, you know, for one guy that's drinking, or for this guy is like a slave to fashion. And what is fashion? It's just like, you know, a majority of people deem something to be cool, and therefore you slave to it? Like, who defines fashion? It's just a fad. And he just couldn't grasp it. And unfortunately, had I been more spiritually, you know, strong, I would have turned around and helped him right away, you know. But at first I was annoyed like hell, which was weakness on my part. And then the second one was that I got lost in thinking how, you know, the guy lost freedom to fashion, and I was trying to rob me of the same freedom that he lost. And by this time, he was gone. It was too late, and I felt really bad afterwards. So the life of a yogi is rather a mindful life, you know, one who endeavors for freedom. And so this freedom does not exist in this kind of a gross physical platform, where, you know, your toes are cold, but hey, you know, you're not going to wear socks because you have Tevas, you know. Hello. You know, I mean, if we're truth seekers, why don't you begin with your toes, you know? Your toes are cold. Just put some socks on, you know. Who gives a darn, you know, about fashion? I mean, what kind of reality does that have to have, you know, socks and Tevas? I mean, who came up with that stuff? I didn't even know until I heard it from this guy. For me, it was a simple matter of being pragmatic, you know. It's called, got Tevas, my only pair of shoes. I don't want to have two pairs of shoes, so got Tevas, and it's called, you put on socks. Okay, so you get a glimpse into the idea known as sanskaras and karma, and prarabdha and aprarabdha karma. So you easily get looped into the cycle of karma, unless you interpret the life in a freedom setting way, which is the spiritual way.